Good to see you tonight. So we're having a little bit of technical difficulty. No, we're good. We're good. I'm Shirley Farrar, and you are tuning in to Encouragement on Fire. And as you can hear in the background, I have a little music going, and I have two guests with me. After today, when I have guests on this Encouragement on Fire, you'll be able to see them. But today you're gonna hear their voices. Yes, you will. You're gonna hear their voices, and I have with me Pastor Daryl Farrar from the Meeting House Church, and I also have Elder Cynthia from the Meeting House Church. Yeah, so they're gonna start to interject with me, have a conversation. So moving forward, we are definitely going to have the split screen because I think that's really necessary because I want to start having maybe even some live guests on to tell their story instead of taping them. Okay, that's some beautiful music, Pastor Darrell. Who's that by?
That's Maverick City.
Maverick City.
That's Jira.
Jira, nice music, wonderful music. Okay,
it's instrumental.
Instrumental. It's wonderful. So we're gonna get started tonight. You know, I first of all, I want to just give a shout out to everyone. And I want to tell you, oh, wait a minute, hold on. I need the remote control to that television right real quick. So I'm going to be doing this each time. So you guys will be able to, you'll be able to hear that. You hear Elder Cynthia in the back, right? She's like, she don't think y'all can hear, but you can hear. Oh my goodness. So here we go. Let me see here. I'll make sure it's muted. Make sure it's muted. There you go. All right. So first of all, I want to give shout outs to everyone on YouTube. I want to give shout outs to everyone on Facebook, meetup groups. We have different individuals coming from different places just tuning in. And whether you say anything or not on YouTube, I know that you are watching. So if you are with me today, then I want you to put in the little chat and say that I'm with you, Shirley. I'm in the conversation. Okay. So first of all, I want to ask those that are in the room with me, how are you guys doing today?
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Good.
Excellent. I have to respond. Pastor Daryl's sermon this morning was really good. Amen. It was really good. If you get an opportunity, go to the Meeting House, the Meeting House NJ, the Meeting House Church NJ on Facebook, and you will be able to hear his sermon from earlier today. What was your title?
That's the same title I've been running with.
Yeah, you just switched off.
Well, yeah, I kind of transitioned
to a different one.
It's called In the Way.
In the Way.
In the Way.
So if you're interested, make sure you go to it and check it out. Today we are going to talk about the different type of scans that individuals go through when you may be sick or you have an injury. A lot of times we are pushed into a situation where we have to have the scans, but no one ever prepares us for it. No one ever says, well, they sit you down and say, well, this is exactly what's going to take place. Something happens, whether you're at school, high school or college or on your job or someplace else. And now all of a sudden the doctor says, oh, you have to go for this MRI or you have to go for a PET scan or CAT scan. And the first thing you're thinking is, at least me, oh my goodness, I've never done this before. And I've heard horror stories about it because no one actually sat me down and said, this is what's going to happen. Now, when I got to the actual facility, they said, oh, well, this is what's going to happen. Now, it's a little different if you've already been prepped by your doctor and he says, I'm going to send you for this scan. You're going to have it 2 weeks out. They usually send you some paperwork, and the paperwork actually tells you in detail what you need to prepare for. But sometimes it's not like that.
Well, sometimes when you go to the doctor, there's a thing called white coat syndrome. And white coat syndrome is it's a psychological thing for a patient.
Okay.
And so if you're going to get your check all your vitals,
right?
Your heart rate may be elevated, your blood pressure could be elevated. Why? Because it's a white coat syndrome. You know that some type of test is about to happen. So in some respects, I can understand that with them not explaining what type of scan or test that you're going to get, because they don't want you to get petrified in your mind, and oh my God, I'm gonna go through all this, so they figure, well, listen, we're setting you up
That's
for
true.
this, and kind of give it to you in small bite-sized pieces, so you can be a little relieved. So when you get there, they can fully explain it to you.
Right. Well, thank you, doctors, for doing that. But tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to actually go through each and every scan, at least the majority of them, the ones that are really prevalent. So the ones we're going to talk about tonight are MRI. We're going to talk about the X-ray. We're going to talk about the CT scan, and then we're also going to talk about, well, it's also named the CAT scan.
Mhm.
So the first one I wanted to talk about, oh, and also ultrasound. Because I think the ultrasound, we relate just the ultrasound with when somebody's having a baby, and then we have an ultrasound.
But I just had one.
Right, you just had one,
Mhm.
and clearly you're
And
not
I'm not
having a baby.
No.
Clearly, Pastor Joe's not having a baby. And then I had the ultrasound. I had two types of mammograms. One was an ultrasound, and one was the other type of mammogram that they do, which I believe is considered an X-ray. So there's all these different types, and we need to be mindful. Oh, okay, this is what's getting ready to happen to me. So, the dreadful mammogram, every woman out there knows what that experience is like, and hopefully you're helping your daughter to understand it before she actually has to do it. However, it is, they place you in there, and then they flatten you, and they take two things. That's all I'm gonna say. They X-ray you, and they go through all those things.
Let a man examine himself.
Yes, right. And make sure you're examining yourself all the time. Make sure you're examining yourself all the time. But we are individuals that are going to let you know you need to still be going to get those annual physicals. So make sure if you haven't done it this year, you should do it. And what I tend to do now is have it on around my birthday or my birthday month. Okay. So let's talk about the chest X-ray, or excuse me, the chest X-ray. There is not an actual special prep for the chest X-ray. I remember when I went for my chest X-ray, and they actually had me on the two-way chest X-ray. That's when I went. And you know what? Normally in the past, I went for a regular chest X-ray. I didn't go for a two-way chest X-ray. But because the doctor saw on the first chest X-ray, he ordered the second one and said, "I'm going to need you to do a two-way." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So then once he did the two-way, that's when they saw the tumor.
So did the alarms go off in you when he told you, "Well, we want the two-way"? See, because you that's what I'm saying. Usually, like when stuff like that happens.
Yeah, I think
and I think
me.
I'm like, okay, so now I'm saying, okay, what other shoe was about to drop, because he is saying something I never heard of.
Yeah.
He wouldn't ask for something if it wasn't there.
Well, remember, I had pain in my chest for over a year.
Right.
So I think it was kind of like, yeah, that's right, take that test. Like, that in my mind, I kept thinking, please take that test, please. Yeah, every test you have, please give it to me. And I think because of that, maybe it didn't go off as much. But when he did the two-way chest X-ray, that's when he saw it. And I'm thinking, it was big as a grapefruit. So my lungs must be really huge.
Yeah, well, the lungs are.
Because it was hiding behind my lung. I mean, when you think of your body and then you think of, okay, it's sitting over there, you get it. I knew Pastor Darrell was going to get a grapefruit thing. It's going to get a grapefruit. So this is how big that tumor was. Okay. That's how big the tumor was. They can't see it, baby. So, no, they can see it. It's right there. So imagine this sitting in here, but it's on the back side. It's behind me.
Behind the lung.
Behind the lung. And they could not see it with a regular chest X-ray. It's almost like he saw like a portion of something that wasn't part of the actual lung.
A darker shadow.
Right, a darker shadow. And then that's when he said, okay, yeah, I thought somebody was at the door. It looked like somebody was at the door.
That's mom.
That's mom in the shadows. She's in the shadows. But anyway, so, I'm thankful that my doctor, he didn't just ignore it. And he said, how sometimes they say, and they said, nah, it couldn't be anything. I'm glad he said, you know what, let's go and get that two-way chest X-ray. So, and then they just make you wear a gown, of course, when you're doing the chest X-ray. This one, I don't believe I had to take I could wear any clothes. I didn't have to worry about there being, oh, here you go. I didn't have to worry about there being metal in my clothes with certain other ones. You know, and then let's go to the, what's the other one? Hold on. The MRI. Now the MRI, I remember when our children, when they had the MRI. Do you remember that? I think it was the
No.
was it Timmy had to, was it MRI, was it an X-ray they put his leg in or something? He had to,
Timmy?
yeah. He had to go when he tore his it was something.
They would do the MRI for
yeah,
that.
the MRI, because the reason is because if you have
Ligament
ligaments or injuries of the tissue, the MRI will identify it, and then they can the doctor can then diagnose it. So now with the MRI, that's a little different. So they tell you don't drink up to anything 4 hours before. It can detect tumors, soft tissue injuries, joint disease, spinal disease, and internal organs. So if you're ever going through anything, and you know, the doctor says, okay, I'm going to give you an MRI. Hey, you know, you don't have to see it as a bad thing. You'll find out, why is this happening to me?
And not to say this, I've had this one.
Okay, wait a minute.
That one.
Listen.
Lord Jesus.
All right, so I got a diagram online. This is the diagram right here. I just want to let you see it. Can you see it? All right. No. There you go. Different imaging tests explained.
I had 4 out of the 5.
It gives you examples, so then you can take a look at it. So let me just, all right. Pastor Darrell said he had X-ray. So you had an X-ray. What did you have the X-ray for?
Let me see. My wrists, my ankle, my knees, my shoulder, my back,
and your finger,
and my finger.
When we got married, your finger.
No,
when we first moved into this house.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But my ring, this finger from 2 years ago, I dislocated it.
Right from the basketball injury. Yeah. So your X-rays were like 10 to 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
Something like that. It all depends, because sometimes if there's a waiting list or someone in the waiting room, you could be sitting there for a while.
Well, the X-ray itself is only 10 to 15 minutes.
The X-ray is
not the waiting.
Yeah, well, still be prepared. I'm just trying to prepare you for anything you have to do. And then we talked about the MRI with the kids. So the MRI takes about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yep.
Yeah, they put you on this bed, or some people are standing up, depending on what it is.
But usually
and they can circulate around you, and then you, you know, it goes around.
It's an actual magnet.
Yeah, and they do tell you no metal.
Yep.
Please, no metal.
If you had any ask you if you have any
tattoos. Absolutely. I remember I was taking off everything. I had earrings everywhere. I was taking them off. My watch was metal. Now the lady told me after I had took out all the bobby pins out of my head, I literally sat there and I had like 25 to 50 bobby pins in my head, and I was taking them out, and she said, "Oh, you didn't have to take those out."
Because it wasn't going over your head.
Right. Well, no, it was. I was going to be totally in it. The point was that they were tied down.
Oh.
She said if they weren't tied down,
flew out.
Right, and they put a cap on your head.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to, it would have just went in the cap. That would have been it. But, you know, she said, I mean, but now that they're out, it doesn't make a difference, you know. But those are things I just want you to be aware of. You don't have to be afraid of that. Because at first I was like, oh no, let me take off all these metal things that I had. And if it's not going in the machine, you really don't have to worry about that.
I did go through one of those machines.
You did?
Ago.
So it was
okay.
MRI.
And I do remember them telling me I had to take my bobby pins out.
Yeah, so that was an MRI.
Oh, so your person did. My person didn't tell me. She said, no, you didn't have to go through all that. She said, because we could just wrap your head and then you don't have to worry about it going anywhere. She said the only thing that would happen is they would have just went to the, you just heard all this noise, like into the thing. So, you know, it just kind of saves you that information. All right, so now there's also the PET scan. So I prep for the PET scan many times. I have to prep for another one. And I have them about every 3 months, simply because of the past cancer. So until my doctor feels that I'm now totally out of the water, they do a PET scan every 3 months to see if anything comes back. And anybody who's out there who's done this, you probably have witnessed that yourself. So you can just type in if you like in the chat just to talk about that. But that's one of the things that, preparing for this particular PET scan, it's been a little rough for me, simply because I can't eat anything. I mean, you can't eat carbohydrates, which y'all know I shouldn't be eating carbohydrates anyway, because of the inflammation and all those different things. It tells me that no pastas, no dry beans, no fruit juices. I'm going through the list. No sugars. I don't eat sugar anyway, but I do take in xylitol and other sweeteners of no kind. Starchy vegetables, peas, corn, potatoes, no alcohol. I don't drink, so it doesn't matter. And no nutritional shakes. Like, you're like, well, these are all good things that I eat every day, but it tells you not to do any of these. Now, I am
right before the PET scan.
Right before the PET scan, and that's 12 hours to 24 hours, depending on what instructions you've been given. And I now, as you can see, my cup here, I have ginger inside of it, so I'm drinking my ginger tea. But there's no sugar of any kind, no xylitol, no monk fruit, nothing.
I'll just have water.
Yeah, you hear President, I just have water. So it's delicious, y'all. It's delicious. No, it actually is. I really do. I do love ginger tea. I really do any other day. But I do like a little teaspoon of the xylitol in there, or monk fruit. So, but it's okay. And then there's 24 hours before they tell you that you should hydrate. You should just be, getting as much water in you as possible. So I've been doing that, and it says no exercising, resting throughout the entire day before, which is a good thing. Now, let me tell you my experience. So the last time prior, not the last time, but the prior, I was exercising the day before. I was eating carbohydrates. I mean, literally, I was doing everything they tell you not to do. And I honestly believe that my results of my test were negative because they even say in the fine print, it can affect your test results.
But did they give you instructions prior to? So you didn't read the instructions?
They gave me instructions prior to, and I honestly didn't read them because I had done this before. And you know how when you've done something before, you automatically like, oh, I got this. But anytime you're taking a test, especially something as important, always read the fine lines, always read the instructions every single time, because what if something changed? And you want to make sure that you're getting a good the correct results. Exactly.
Because you could have skewed it with everything you did prior.
And to be honest with you, when I went back to the doctor, I got the negative report. And I'm not saying that it was or not, because I don't know for sure. All I know is that I know what I didn't and did not do.
Right.
So the next time when I had the test, there was an improvement, and I had followed the instructions. And this time, I'm following no matter how painful it is, I'm following the instructions. So today I had, what did I have? Oh my goodness, I had my seafood, and I had a little steak. And I also had vegetables and eggs today, which it says you can have. And I also had one more thing. What was it? My asparagus, which was a vegetable. And I had my wonderful ginger tea. And I had my water. So these are important that you do. Now, like I said, I know that some people, it's like, oh, well, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. These are major results you're going to get from these different types of tests. So just remember that. And when you go to take, whether it's the CAT scan, if you do the CAT scan, they ingest you with a dye. And then, and then the CAT scan is read through the machine. It does that. And it makes you feel, I'm just saying, it's a warm feeling. It makes you feel like you have to go to the bathroom. And the lady even says that to you, you have to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, I feel like I do, but I know I don't, because you already went to the bathroom before you went and did your scan. And the difference between the CAT scan and the difference between the PET scan, is simply they give you this milky white liquid, and they give it to you when you arrive. So you have to give them 2.5 hours, and you arrive, and they ask you, did you, eat, do all these different things that I just read to you, and tell them no. And then they take blood work because they got to make sure your sugars are right. And then they sit you in a nice, cozy little room. I love it.
Put you on a timeout.
Put you on a little timeout, and I need that little timeout.
Don't go to sleep.
And they give you warming blankets, and they dim the lights for you. Make sure they dim the lights, because I had one experience and the lady had the lights all bright. How are you supposed to relax with that? So make sure they dim the lights and put on your AirPods or your earphones and listen to soothing music. They're going to sit you there after you take the milky product for about an hour. After that, the PET scan only takes about 35 minutes, and then you're done. Now, if somebody explains that to you, you feel like, oh, I can do that. But when you don't know, when you don't read the instructions, when you don't, it makes you feel like, oh,
it's the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you don't know what to expect.
You don't. And it's so good when people walk with you or they talk with you about it. Even if it's your first or second time. I remember many times going through these tests and knowing that either my mom, Elder Cynthia, or my husband, Pastor Darrell, was in the waiting room, and because I remember one time when I was taking my test, and I finally got there, and I knew I was going to get answers, and I just bust out in tears, just crying. And it wasn't that anyone could help me. It was just simply that you're going to get answers. And I think that's like you said, I think you said when you don't know. But once you know, now I can pray about it. I can take the right foods. I can take the right medicine. I can get the right support people around me. I can do a lot of different things. And I think that's the most important. Just the unknown. I didn't like that feeling. And so that's why I encourage everyone, if you have any aches in your body, if you're going through anything, don't just sit on it. Go and find out what that is. Once you know what it is, make sure you have people around you that can walk you through whatever that is. And I know sometimes you feel like it's a burden, like I don't want to burden anybody. I don't want anyone to have to pray with me. I don't want anyone to have to go through this process with me. Trust me, I felt like that myself. You just don't want, but you know what? If people are offering, take it. I have individuals right now, I'm not going to say who you are out there, that, you know what? I'm going to keep calling you to pray. I'm going to keep calling you to read the word. I'm going to keep calling you to encourage you. And a lot of times people are like, oh no, I don't need your help. This is that moment. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to say, yes, I need someone to help me, to assist me in this process. Now, since we talked about the PET scan, anybody want to talk any more about the scans that we take? Or okay, we're good. All right. So,
but in conclusion with what you just said, the Bible says it's not good for man to be all alone.
Yeah.
And we know that really means between a husband and a wife. But he also says that we're supposed to esteem our brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
We're supposed to help carry their burdens. And so when we don't do what we're required to give up, we are legitimately going against the ordinance of God. Yeah. And now that gets us, who needs all the prayer and support we need, in trouble with God.
Right.
Because we're being selfish with what's going on in our bodies, and we won't relinquish that to God, nor to get other people to pray with us and on our behalf.
Right. And I think what it does is it causes people, you let people be selfish. I'm just saying, you let people be selfish, because sometimes when we say, oh, I'll pray with you, I'll pray for you, sometimes people don't really mean it. But if somebody says that to you, say, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Okay, you can pray with me. You now cause them to live up to what either they said or like you said, what the Word of God says, we are to help one another, and we should be doing
It
that
tells
for
us
one another.
where 2 or 3 are gathered, there he is in the midst, right? And he
Absolutely.
calls us to do that to what? Touch and agree.
Touch and agree. Yeah. So it's important. So I want to share, before we get off, I want to share something with you guys. You know that I have been on this journey to get the inflammation out of my body. So I've been doing a couple things. I've been taking B vitamins. I've been taking turmeric and turmeric twice a day. Actually, my doctor told me to make sure that I did that. And I do believe that it's helping. The last time I came on, I told you guys I was having a lot of pain in my arm. And I have to tell you, every day it's getting better, to the point now it's only on my fingertips. Isn't that wonderful? Where before it was all the way up my arm. I'm waking up and it's like I can't even feel my arm. Right now it's literally only on my fingertips, and I can still feel it. It's just a little bit tingle numb. So I'm thankful, and I'm still praying, declaring over my body. But at the same time, I'm doing the work. Remember, faith without works is dead. So I have been taking the turmeric and some other things like the ginger tea, different things that push it out of the body. What are some of the other things, Mom?
It takes time for chemo to come out your body.
Yeah.
That's a chemical.
Yeah, the doctor said that the chemo, even though it's months later, it still has to push its way out the body. And my feet had been affected. And I told you guys I've been wobbling, or if I don't have my shoes on, it was getting to the point where no matter what shoes I wore, it still was happening. So what I did was I said, what can I do about it? So these are dirty because I've been wearing them. So I just want you guys to know before I put them in there. But these right here are called Skechers Performance. And they didn't pay me to say this. I'm letting you know what works for me. This is called Ultra Go. These are Skechers Performance. When I tell you, I wake up in the morning and I place these on my feet, I could literally have so much pain in my feet. And all of a sudden, I put these on, and guess what? Instantly, it goes away. So there's something in this that has pressure points, and it assists in someone like me who had the pain in like the ball of the foot, or like that area at the base of the bottom. Okay, so if that's you, this is it. Now my husband went out and he bought me these from Adidas. So they do the exact same thing. I don't know if you can see them. These are beautiful. You see those? These do the exact same thing, and they have the pressure points on it, and it pulls it all together. So these are things that I'll be wearing, yes, with my dresses too.
That's right.
And also, he bought me these, which I think are fabulous. He has a pair himself. I don't know if you can see. These are Adidas, and as you can see on the side,
I can't see it.
oh, yeah, these are on the side. They have
like needles.
These little needles in there. When I tell you this works perfectly, I get up and I put this on, immediately my feet feel fine. Now, still right now, when I'm walking without this or the other two shoes, I'm still getting that pressure on the ball, like the base of my foot. But the doctor has said to me that in many cases it goes away. There's some cases, few cases, that it stays. So I'm hopeful and in prayer that will go away. And I'm going to keep you updated on my progress, because like I said, anything that pushes away the inflammation, I'm going to do it. Okay, so I just wanted you to know those things I am doing. And I'm trying to think of anything else. Any other inflammation foods, Mom, that pushes out the inflammation we were talking about? I mean, we've shared with you many over the past weeks. Remember, this is number 20.
Take your omega-3s.
Oh, yeah, definitely take the omega-3s. You should be taking your vitamin, your zinc, your vitamin Ds, all of those different things. But like I said,
iodine.
Oh, and the iodine.
And
also, your minerals. Make sure you guys are
Iodine
taking your minerals.
If you take kelp,
Kelp is another one.
It's really good for you.
Yeah. So I think that's all for today. And like I said, I'm gonna finish up my ginger tea here. It really is delicious. I could use a little sugar in there or no xylitol, but that's okay. I can do this. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So we're going to end for today. I want to thank my guests on my show, which as of hopefully next week, you'll be able to see them.
Where's my parting gifts? Come on, where they?
Parting gifts.
No parting gifts?
Here's your parting gifts. Yeah.
Cheap show, I tell you.
I'll feed you. There you go. That's the part again.
Mm.
So again, thank you all for tuning in, and I'm hopeful that you will come back next week when we start to discuss some different things on defeating cancer, sickness, and disease. Until then, I'm Shirley Farrar, and have a wonderful evening. Bye bye.